gone and dropped along. I can see it fall from a blood red sky. We got to fight it all, and race until we see the whites of their eyes. When the rain starts pouring down, revolution's such a lovely sound. I can see the sharks are closing in, and there's blood in the water now. So what you fighting for? This is where we draw the line. This is where we draw the line. I hear your battle cry. Let me hear your battle cry. Let me hear your battle cry. Let me hear your battle cry.
Oh, hi everyone, and welcome into Behind the Helm. If you want to watch this show live, tune in every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Make sure to leave a comment down below, and we'll respond live. As always, find it, like it, share it, follow it. But if you want to watch the show after the fact, head on over to YouTube or on Facebook, where the shows are cataloged, and you can see all the comments and notes and still watch the show and any bonus content. If you just want to listen to the show, head on over to Spotify, Apple Podcast, Audible, wherever you can find a podcast, and just search up Behind the Helm. Enjoy the show. Episode number 3, Season 2, Episode number 3. Welcome in. Good to see some faces. I see you out there, Dusty. Thank you for your comment. And I know you said you hadn't been here in a while. It's okay. If you go back and watch or listen to the last episode, you would know that neither have I. So we're getting back into it. And we went over kind of what I've been up to in the last episode. And this episode, we're really going to dive in to negotiating your orders, looking at your orders, where do you find them, and what's out there for you. Big shout out to everybody who's on right now watching live. I saw my soon-to-be boss, which I had told you guys about, who had moved over to Spain. They actually left on Thanksgiving and made it over. Everything's going well for them, still stayed in contact. And it's thanks to him and his family, his wife, and kids and everything that Claire and myself have gotten a lot of information to help with that transition, and you'll also be learning more and more about that throughout this season. So again, make sure you smash that like button, comment down below if you have any questions. All platforms, no matter what you're doing, if you're listening, you can always listen later on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere you can find a podcast. You can watch it live, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, and you can always watch it later. Something I'm going to try to start doing, a few of these things that we're going over, especially today, are going to be things that are a little visual, and somebody brought to my attention that the last episode, some of the stuff that I was doing was a little bit more visual, and I didn't really explain it very well. So if you listen to it on the audio side, it's kind of confusing. So for those watching, a few of the things that we'll be looking at, I might be explaining a little bit more in depth. And I know you're going to be thinking like, well, I can see it. That's for the audio side. So just understand that. Also, I know we had some connection issues, did some research, opened some ports. Hopefully that's going to fix a problem. We shouldn't have major connection issues today. But before we get started with orders and everything going on, there's a couple things I want to talk about. Number one, I want to shout out my good friend Will Mask, retired chief over at Blue and Gold Design. The guy's killing it. Him and his team, they push out a ton of stuff. It doesn't have to be just Navy Chief stuff. They do command t-shirts, all kinds of stuff. And recently I put in an order from him. He sent me some extra stuff, and it's just super awesome. And I just wanted to highlight him. I want to show you guys their stuff. Feel free to support them. And they have a really, really awesome New Year's kind of giveaway going on for anybody in the Navy that's looking for stuff for their command. So let me show you this. So first off, this is their website. It's blue in, not IN, just blue, and then the letter N, gold.org. If you want to check out just their website, they have all kinds of stuff, coins, hats, miscellaneous apparel. They do mess coins you can put in for a custom design. But just for instance, if you go to view all, they have all kinds of shirts, they have tumblers, flags. They even have tent toppers, like for what am I thinking about? Just the 8x8, the 10x10 tents. You can get custom ones of those. They do that, and their shirts are awesome. I'm not wearing one right now. I'm wearing one of his hats, which we'll talk about in a second. And you can order them. They do command ones. They have all the different sizes and different types of shirts as well. So they do like the tri-blend, where it's like that super soft material, and they have like the regular cotton as well. So definitely check them out. You can check them out on their website. But if you're on Facebook, which some of you are, by all means, don't do it right now because you're watching me live. So, keep them viewers going. But I will show you as well. They have a Facebook page, Blue and Gold Design, and he always posts stuff. Even when you can see some of the tent tops that they do sweatshirts, hats, coins. It's a coin that they just recently did for a CMC, and stuff that they've done for the Donald Cook, for different chief messes. A lot of their stuff is chief related, like their hats, stuff like that, but they do custom stuff, and they've done stuff for people that are not in the Navy as well. So, just to show you a few things, I'm wearing one of their hats right now. They do coins. One of their fun little coins that you can get pretty cheap is like they have this little key. I know it's going to be kind of hard to see with the glare. It's just a small metal key, and on one side it shows all three chief ranks. It says on one side, it says Goat Locker 1893, the key to success, and on the other side it says starts with a mess. So it's a fun little gift. I have like 6 of these. And just some of their hats. I have a bunch of different ones that he's either sent me or I've ordered, but they're really good quality. It's raised stitching on the anchor, and he makes them for Senior Chief, Master Chief. It says since 1893, and then on the back it says genuine. And if you know, you know. So you can see it's Velcro adjustable. He has them in all different colors. Like here's a white one with pink, the gray on gray. There's a black on white. There's a murdered out. This one's kind of hard to see, the gray on gray. There's a murdered out black on black. And then like this is newer. They haven't had these. It's like a hunter's orange on Realtree print. Again, it's the Velcro adjustment. Right now, the one I'm wearing is more of the BDU camo, and it is the vented top with the snapback. So they have all different kinds of things. Reach out. But I want to just point out, for anybody who's looking for stuff for their command, they have this awesome giveaway going on. They posted this 3 days ago. We're offering up a New Year's giveaway with 2 ways to win. Prize number 1, 100 custom 3-inch coins. And if anybody's ever ordered coins, you would know that that's not cheap. And custom designed by our team, or a 10x10 custom event tent, custom designed by the team. Prize 2 is 50 custom t-shirts or 50 custom ball caps. And then here are the rules. You got to tag your command, mess, or association, or make a purchase on the website. The top 15 commands tagged will be entered into a random drawing combined with individuals that make purchases on the website. On January 1st, we'll be holding a random drawing where the winners will be announced. So if you're in the market for custom coins or shirts for either your Chiefs Mess or your first class association, your junior enlisted association, or just your command, by all means, check out Blue and Gold Design. The head of operations is my buddy Will Mass. He's a retired chief, and then their head of design is a retired master chief. So they're doing great things. He does them all himself. He even, if you look down through his stuff and through the site, I would say definitely on the Facebook, he posts as they get new stuff all the time. You can see here, there's the pink on white, white on pink is really cool, and then the white on the baby blue as well. They do sock caps and beanies, and you can see here he's working on a bunch of different shipping, getting stuff in, the tents, and he'll even post videos of commands like, this command on the clock, and it shows him printing them, and these are, I don't remember exactly. He told me once, I can't remember like how they're printed, but you're not going to have to worry about it peeling off. It's very well done. I just can't remember what that term is. Anyway, check them out. Doing awesome things. Okay. So before we get into orders, I told you guys about Dahlgren, and, recently my in-laws were able to come and visit, and I kind of gave them a tour. And the real cool thing about Dahlgren is that it's a test site. Like, they do a lot of large caliber gun testing here. The uncool thing is when you're not ready for it or paying attention, because it's loud. I was out actually playing a round of disc golf today, and I don't know what size gun they were firing, but I felt it in my body, and I wasn't that close to the test site, and they fired right before I started the show. It shakes our house. So it's really awesome. And what I wanted to do, I found a video, and before we get into this, I forgot to mention, don't forget that this podcast is 100% my opinion. It does not reflect directly on the Navy or my command. So it is mine and mine alone. All right. And Dusty, I did hear about the Blue Angels when they were in Indiana, and some of the chiefs that I had been recruiting with got to go, and they met some people, and pretty cool. A couple of the other things that Blue and Gold does real quick, they do, like, he even has like pop sockets for a phone. This is a senior chief one. So hey Sean, if you want a senior chief pop socket, I'm not exactly sure why Will sent me a senior chief one. Maybe it's just, he's telling me good things to come, I guess. But yeah, they do pop sockets. It's pretty cool. So before we get into orders, I wanted to show this video, and I'm going to kind of talk during it. I'm going to show you a video. It's unclassified. It was released to the public. It was approved for public release, and it's in 2016, the USS Dahlgren demonstration. So it's just a gun shoot, and it shows some integration between like UAVs, how we use those and stuff like that. Pretty cool. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to leave my mic on. Ooh, actually, I'm not going to leave my mic on, because if I do that, we're going to get double feed so I can hear it. But I may pause it and then talk about it for a minute. So let's take a look at this real quick. I think you guys will really enjoy this. About 4 minutes long. Those on Spotify and on the actual audio podcast, you'll be able to hear what's going on. But if you want to look up the video, just search on YouTube 2016 USS Dahlgren spelled DAHLGREN demonstration. Pretty cool video. So let's check this out. There's no sound right now. I know you guys might be saying, like, well, where's the sound? There is no sound. So here it comes. This is the Potomac River right here that they're going up and down. This is just outside of Dahlgren. It's part of the base. It runs right past the base.
All stations, test director, start run 2. Start run 2. This is a live fire run. Live fire.
All stations, Bunker Hill, unknown surface contact, bearing 126 at 5,000 yards, track 4014.
Bunker Hill, Aztec, copy, standby. Roadhog, Aztec, unknown surface contact, intercept an ID on a 5G point.
Aztec, Roadhog, copies, coming to 090. Standby for visual ID.
And Roadhog, standby.
Aztec, Roadhog, track appears to be fishing boats, 27-30 feet without forces loitering. We'll descend for a closer look.
Copy, Roadhog.
Aztec. Vessel here, prepping for missile launch. Aztec, receiving small arms fire, word evading.
Roadhog, Aztec, you're clear to engage hospital.
Aztec, Roadhog, postman or Winchester.
And Roadhog, postman, Aztec, copy, Winchester.
Fire control, Bunker Hill, clear to engage, track 4016.
There they're loading the 5-inch gun, and you could see it's two separate pieces. So you have the actual projectile, and then you have the powder shell. So the projectile goes, and what gets ejected out is that expended powder shell.
Fire control, this is Vass. Shot correction as follows. 70 yards long, 87 yards right.
Fire control copy, 70 yards long, 87 yards right. Standby, Bravo size will be 3.
Now this is the same style of gun that would be on the destroyers and the cruisers, so exactly what I came from and what I'm going to, that is the 5-inch, and the 5-inch is the diameter of the round.
Fire control, this is Vass. Shot correction as follows. 54 yards long, 36 yards right.
54 yards long, 36 yards right. Fire control copy, standby, Bravo size will be 4.
All stations, Bunker Hill, ceasefire, target destroyed.
Now I know some of you are going to be like, how did they destroy it? It didn't hit it. Well, what they're trying to hit is that box, because they're simulating a larger vessel.
Contact bearing 127 true and 2,000 yards.
Independent, Bunker Hill, roger.
It's a different gun that they're going to fire. Super fun. So anyway, I just want to show you that. I'm not going to show you the whole video. There's no need to. I mean, it's almost over, but there's no need to watch the whole thing. I just wanted to show you guys that. Yeah, so they do that here all the time. And if you're not ready for it, especially the big guns, it'll startle you. So anyway, let's get into the meat and potatoes of what this episode is about. We're going to be talking about orders, right? Before we do that, again, make sure you smash that like button. Share this feed no matter what platform you're on, whether you're on Spotify, you're listening to it later, you're watching it on YouTube after the fact, or you're watching live. Just make sure you smash that like button. Follow our feed. We're really trying to build those numbers. I think this information is going to be very important for younger sailors, and to be honest, even some of us older sailors, as well as for family members. I think it'll be really important. Special shout out. She's telling me that she was busy, but she's not going to be. I think next week she won't be on camera, but my wife, Claire, I think I'm gonna try to get her to do the podcast with me to talk about the move from a spouse standpoint and somebody who had never moved with the military, just to kind of talk about, what she experienced, and we'll kind of go into that. So first and foremost, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about orders. How does that work? So we actually call it order negotiation. You get to negotiate your orders. And I know some people watching this who are in the military or the Navy are going to be like, negotiate? Yeah, okay. What's a negotiation window? Sometimes you don't get to negotiate. Sometimes you do. And it just depends. When can you start looking at orders for your next station? Well, for anybody that's curious, My Navy HR, where you can see all nav admin, stuff like that. If you were to look at nav admin 231/17, 231/17, it will tell you exactly how that works. My sister-in-law just posted and said hi from Jonathan. Jonathan is my nephew in Galveston, Indiana. Hi, Jonathan. Hope you're doing good. I saw your Minecraft book from the library, and I hope you're enjoying it. I know you're getting better at Minecraft, so keep doing it, buddy. I also know one of your Christmas presents from your parents. I know what it is. You don't, and it's awesome. And you're just going to have to wait till Christmas to find out. Anyway, off track. So nav admin 231/17. So what it states is this: from your PRD or projected rotation date, all right, you can start negotiating orders 12 months out from that. So 12 months out, you get, the way the Navy says is we get what's called looks. Okay, you get looks. So you get 3 looks. What that means is 3 different times that you can apply for orders before it's just like, hey, you're the needs of the Navy. Okay, meaning, hey, what most people think of it as the military, right? They're going to tell you where you're going. So 12 months out is your first look. Then every 2 months after that. So meaning 12 months out, you get your first look. 2 months later, you get your second look. 2 months after that, you get your third look. So what does that mean, though? What are we talking about here? How do we get our look? Where does that come from? All right, so I'm going to pull up my computer screen. And again, like I said, for my audio listeners, I'll be explaining a little bit more, but I'll be explaining where I'm at so that if you wanted to go look at it, you could. So first and foremost, what you need to do is go to My Navy portal, My Navy portal, and you can look at quick links. Now, anybody can go and look at this. There are links here that I will tell you for spouses, family members, that you do not have to have a CAC or Common Access card or military ID to get into them. And there are some really good sites on here, you know, like for instance, just to point one out, Navy spouse licensure reimbursement. You know, there's all kinds of different things for Navy families, and we'll talk about those on a different episode. But you can see the ones with the lock. Those are going to be the ones that are going to require you to log in. Now, this is to all my sailors out there. Well, you know, I do that on the ship, or I do that in the office or at school, but I mean, I can't do that at home. Yes, you can. Two ways. One, you can set up to where you can log in via a password, and 2, just buy yourself a CAC reader. All right. They look like this. Okay, this is my CAC card and a CAC reader, and you can find them on Amazon. If you're near an exchange, most of the time they have them. Now, I will say if you're using a Apple product like a MacBook, it's a different type of reader most of the time. You got to make sure it's compatible. And like for me, I just plug it in and it works just fine. So because a couple of the places I'm going to take you require access. Now, I will also preface that what I'm going to show you is unclassified. And I'm not going to show you anything that's like what we call OPSEC, or, you know, I'm not releasing anything that's like top secret or secret or even classified. So anyway, we're looking here, a couple sites to talk about. You know, there's the Navy College, there's My Navy HR, where you look up any instruction, but right here is the one that we're going to talk about. It's called My Navy Assignment. My Navy Assignment allows sailors to view available jobs and make their own applications, or make applications through their command career counselor. So We're going to click continue. We're going to go to this. I'm going to show you this. I have to sign in so I can show that I'm allowed to go to this site. So I will tell you, if this is a U.S. government site, if you if you don't have a CAC, you're not going to be able to get on this site. All right, so this information is a little bit more for those already in the military. However, I think it's good information for family members too, because you can look at it with your spouse. Now, I'm not going to sign in here as then it shows a lot of my personal information, stuff like that. But my Navy assignment, active duty and full-time support. And then you also have your select reserve sailors. That's just regular reserves. And you can see there's a phase down here. It says current phase for the active duty and support are results, and current phase over here is selection. What does this mean? All right, so we talked about how those windows come open, right? Well, there's different phases. There's results, there's selection, there's open, there's all these different phases where you can go in and you can look at what jobs in your rate and your rank are currently available. You can even narrow it down. So, hey, I know I'm up for orders to go back to sea. I know I want to be on the East Coast. I want to go to Norfolk, Virginia, or I want to go to Mayport. You can put that in there and it'll only show you that if there are any orders available. Just like anything, you can filter it down. So if we're looking here, I was going to show you guys sailor tutorial. That's what I wanted to see. All right, so the sailor tutorial, this is for sailors specifically, and again, I'm not logged in, so you're not going to see any classified information. But basically, this is going to show it without me having to show my information. You can go here, and it talks about the different types over here on the side. You can see there's different schedules. It talks about the schedules and how to apply for orders. It talks about how you apply for orders and set up your application. And what your application is it's giving you the ability to more or less put what you're looking for. All right, because the commands when you apply for these jobs, if it's just like any job. All right, so if there's a position and 15 sailors apply for it, that command's going to take a look at those 15 sailors, and based on what's in their application and what's in their history, who would best fit for them. All right, so it's important that you fill that information out. Talks about how you can print this guide, but you can see that it talks about, your info, your career history. You want to make sure that's right, and then your preferences. Again, that's what we were talking about. You can put your dream job. So when these come up, here's the cool thing about the looks when I talk about it. When you have your looks, you can see all the orders that are available. That doesn't mean that you have to apply for any of them, okay? It doesn't mean that you have to apply for all of them. If there's one that you like, you can apply for it. If you don't get it, you don't get it. But what I will caution anyone in the Navy who's going to be coming up for orders is that, there's a max amount that you can apply for. All right. That doesn't mean that you have to, because here's the deal. You're going to list them from your top to your bottom as far as like what you would want. And if you fill all of it and one of those orders comes up for you, you're going to get put into it. All right. So understand that. You're giving yourself more opportunity, yes, but again, you get 3 looks most of the time. Sometimes you don't. I did not. I was needed, and that's fine. But understand that if you put it, you can get picked up for it. So if on your first look, there's 2 spots that you would love to be considered for, put them, but don't put anything else. And if you don't get picked up for them in the selection phase, then 2 months later, you get a look again on your second look. So My Navy assignment, make sure you go and look at that. And what I would suggest is well before that 12-month time frame is that, one, you go into My Navy assignment, you log into it, and you start filling out your info. Don't wait till the last minute. right? Go in, fill out your resume, fill out your information, make sure it's all in there. Plus, then you can continue to kind of update it as it gets closer to if things change for you or your family. Okay, so that's my Navy assignment. That's where we're going to negotiate our orders. That's where we're going to see what orders are available, where sailors are needed, where am I needed based on my rank and my rate, and rate being job, and rank being my pay grade, right? I'm a chief, E7. So, and I just want to point out that Sean had also said that Chromebooks require some drivers, but work great with CAC-enabled sites once you have the right ones. And it all just depends on the reader. When you plug it in, it might automatically download the drivers. You know, mine did. I didn't have to do anything. So it just depends. But you can still do it at home. You know, don't use work as an excuse. Like, well, you know, I couldn't get to a computer. Look, like this is your career. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they're like less than $20. Like, they might be less than 15. You know. It's worth the investment to get a reader so that you can do these things on your time where you're sitting down, you can really think about it. You're not, I'm not going to say taking time away from work because it is also your career, but, you know, I'm just saying, like, it's important. Okay. So again, you're here on episode number 3 of season 2, and we're talking about orders, how you get them, how you read them, how you negotiate them, what it means, and help for that, right? So make sure you smash that like button. Share this feed no matter what you're on. So we just took a look at my Navy assignment, okay? Now, once you get selected, how do you get your orders? Your command will receive them, and you should get them. Right? They get emailed to you, or it just depends, right? So since I was in recruiting, my command got them. The easiest way for them to get them to me was to email them to me. But there are other multiple places that you can get your orders if you know you have them. So let me show you. We're going to stay just on the quick links on My Navy portal. So there's a couple places you can go. One is My PCS. Again, you have to have a CAC to get on, or a military ID. Using My PCS, active and reserve sailors may view orders, checklists, and submit travel vouchers. So there's, you know, travel vouchers is something that we're going to talk about on a future episode when we get more into the travel after you get your orders. But you can view your orders there. You can also view them in INSIPS. Anybody in the Navy knows INSIPS. INSIPS has everything. Navy Standard Integrated Personnel System, INSIPS. View your electronic service record, update record of emergency data, dependency applications, SGLI or our life insurance, and submit e-leave or your leave requests. Okay, so you can go in there. You can actually look at your orders history. You can see different orders that you've gotten, as well as where you've been. You can make sure all of that is correct. Okay, now we get our orders, and this is a big one in the Navy, and it's how do we read it? Like it's confusing, and I'm going to show you my orders. So they've already been completed. It's not classified. I still blacked out a lot of information just because, and a lot of it I probably didn't have to, but I did anyway, just to be safe. Never too safe, okay? But I want to show you guys a set of orders so that you can kind of follow along and understand what you're looking at. For those of you listening on the podcast, the audio part of the podcast, by all means, if you have an old set of orders, or you can, I guarantee you can Google a Navy set of orders and look at it and follow along, or just note the information that I'm talking about. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to pull this up, and we're going to take a look at a set of orders. So here are my orders, and you can see the first page only has this on it. That is because there was an alt. Basically, there was a change, okay? And what's blacked out is just the number or your order's number, okay? So alt, orders, alter, you know. All right, so let's get into the meat and potato of these orders. So your orders come from Millington, Tennessee. It's nothing hidden, you know, everybody knows that. You can look that up. Your Bupler's orders, if somebody's like, what's your order number? It's the number that's here. It says who it's for. Obviously, it has my name, and then it has this right here. That is your primary and secondary NEC, or your job, right? It's your job code. And if you're not exactly sure what your job code is, you can look that up, My Navy HR. You can search it via what that is, or put in your job to get the code so that you know what it is. But that is that. Now, in carrying out processing these orders, both parts 1 and 2 must be read and listed. Instructions complied with, okay, for official use only. All right, let me say it again. Both parts 1 and 2 must be read. Look, if you get orders and you're not reading them, you're already in the wrong. And that's not me as a chief talking, that's me as a person talking. Me as a husband, as a father, you need to read through this, okay? It's important. It has a lot of important information that you're going to need that will help disseminate to your family what's going on and what you need to do. All right, so let's take a look at what that looks like. Now, there are member advisements, and these can be different depending on where you're going or what you're doing. But we're going to talk about what it looks like and what you're looking for, all right? Detaching activity. So detaching activity, all right, so you're here, you're detaching from there, you're leaving, okay? So for me, when directed to detach, anytime in August, all right? Didn't give a specific date, which we already know that. That's when I left, all right? So when directed, you detach. It says where you're detaching from and where that duty station is, all right? Now over here, we love our acronyms in the Navy. EDD, that's estimated departure date, all right? August 2023, estimated departure date. Hey, when is it estimated that you're leaving, okay? Now, after that, it'll talk to you, and this is big here. For an enhanced PCS move experience, please be sure to utilize My PCS Mobile. So they have a mobile, you can get it on your phone, available here to create a unique PCS checklist tailored for the needs of your upcoming move. View and learn orders and initiate your travel vouchers and submit to your CPPA. Now, there are, and we're going to talk about the help sites for this, but there are all kinds of things that you can do and checklists that you can get to kind of help you. It can be very daunting. And if I do talk my wife into being on the podcast next week, I want to talk about that because it was her first time doing it. And it can be very daunting to understand what you have to do. So there are 2 types of things that you could see on your orders. So let's move down. You can see intermediate, that just means it's a stop. It's not your permanent place. I had 2 intermediate, and then you have your ultimate activity, all right? So let's start and let's look at an intermediate activity and what that is. So what you'll see is at the very top of it, you're going to have a report NLT. NLT, that is no later than. There's going to be a date. That means that on that date, you have to report by 11:59. Unless you make arrangements, you call and make arrangements, that is the day that you have to report to your new command. Sometimes then you can see right after that it says, but in ET, that's no earlier than. Basically, more or less what that's saying is that you need to report by this date, but don't show up before this date. Sometimes there's a window. Sometimes there's just a no later than. But this is important to understand. You look for the no later than. You also need to see if there's a no earlier than, and they will be side by side, okay? You want to see that because if you report too early, it can just be a problem, okay? So understand that. Directly under that, it's going to say where you're going to, what command, and where it's at. And for what it is, for temporary duty under instruction, right? Because it's not my permanent command. Over here, you now see on the right, EDA, all right? So that's estimated date of arrival. And up here, EDD, estimated date of departure, right? Estimated date of arrival. And then it has what we call your UIC. That's basically your command code, like what command you would be under. Okay, Now, it says you're under instruction, and it's going to give you the number of days that you should be there. Okay, so for approximately X amount of days, that's how long you're going to be there. And it's going to say to include X amount of days at whatever school. So mine had my amount of days at my TACTO class that I was at. All right. Under that, it'll also give you your class number. Right after that, it's going to say CONV, that's convene, meaning the date of which the school actually starts. So you may report to your new command on, one day, and then the actual convene date for the class that you're going to, if you're going to a class, may not be for another 2 or 3 days. All right, so both of those dates are important. And then after that, it'll have your GRAD, or your grad date, your graduation date, when you are expected to graduate from that school. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the day that you leave, but that's when you should graduate from that school. And then underneath that, it says, and when directed, detach. So obviously after you graduate the school, and it'll have another EDD, or estimated date of departure. Okay. And it may be a more specific day. Again, then I had another intermediate stop, but let's look at the ultimate activity since we already talked about intermediate stops. Your ultimate activity, what that is the orders that you are getting ultimately. Now, I know that I'm going to Spain, and this says ultimate activity here at Dahlgren. That is because it was long enough that it is a PCS move, meaning that I'm, moving all my household goods, all that. So basically, I get one set of orders and then another just because of the length of this school, right? I'm going to be here for quite a while. Okay, but it's okay because we're going to talk about ultimate activity and what that looks like. All right, again, you can see this one doesn't have the acronym. It just says report not later than, and then it had a date. There's no, no earlier than, okay? So sometimes you'll have that. So that means like if there's a big stand down between when you detach from one command before you get to your other command, you can check in early if you want, but you also have to look at the convene date for your class and know that you're going to be on what's called holds. Basically, hey, you're there, you're checked in, you may have duty or whatever, you might be doing some odds and end jobs, stuff like that, until your school starts, but you're not getting charged for your leave. Any gap in between two activities where you are not at a command, if you check out of one command, you are paying leave until you check into the next command. Now, there are caveats to that, and I don't want to get too deep into the weeds with it, but understand you get a number of travel days based on how far away it is, and those travel days don't count against you, so forth and so on. Okay, but that's getting a little bit too deep. All right, so again, it's going to tell you here, it says where I reported to, Dahlgren, Virginia. We already know that. And it's a permanent duty station, okay? For duty under instruction, because we all know that I'm going to a school. And again, it gives you your estimated date of arrival. Now, because it is a permanent duty station, it also shows assigned rate, my designated NEC 1 and my designated NEC 2 are my primary and secondary, but you can see that there's nothing there. When you're going to a ship, that would be there. What are you going there to do? All right. However, since I'm here as a student, it doesn't need to be there. All right. And then it has a PRD, and which is May of next year, which we've already talked about. You all know that I should be leaving here in May of next year to head to Spain, and that's what this whole season is about. Okay. And then, of course, just like before, it tells you to include how many days, what school you're going to, your class number, and then your convene and grad date, okay? And underneath each section of this is going to have information for you, your travel vouchers, when those have to be in. Prior to detaching from your current command, all sailors using their government travel credit card for PCS expenses have to log in, make sure that it's active, and everything's good to go. Okay, so there's a lot of really good information in your orders. I know it looks really confusing, but it's very important that you sit down and you read through them. All right, because this is at the bottom, and it has numbers and email addresses of people that you can contact. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to talk to your chain of command, people above you, around you who have maybe PCS or gotten orders more recently than you. So if there's something in it that you don't understand. Now, that's part 1. Okay, part 2. Buper's orders. It has your orders number again, your name. What part 2 does is give you more information about what you're doing. The attaching activity, the funding, the different things that you need, the different websites that you need, okay? As well as what you always need to look for is especially anywhere it says this, member advised. Whoops, highlighted that wrong. Oh, well, whatever. Member advised. Member advised to initiate housing application or receive community housing information. Use online housing early application tool, HEAT, and visit this website to be able to do that. To view privatized housing, which we call on-base housing, and community housing listings at your next duty station, visit this. For more duty station, for more information on this Department of Defense sponsored website. Okay, what that's saying is by all means, when you get your orders, start looking immediately at, one, if you have a family, into housing. Where are you going to live? Okay, are you going to live in on-base housing, government housing? Are you going to find a place of your own? That's really important to apply early so that you get it. For instance, just to give an example, let's talk about Petty Officer Levesque, right? He went to San Diego. The housing market in San Diego, everybody knows, is kind of messed up right now. It's very, very expensive. So a lot of sailors are not living off base. It's very expensive. So unlike before, most of them are trying to live in military housing. So the wait list can be kind of long. You need to get your name on that so that if that's what you want to do, you can. And they require multiple things. They require your orders. They require you to fill out different things. If you have pets, there are things that you have to do. So it's important that you go on and you apply. You go through that paperwork and see what they need. All right. It is the same for your intermediate activities. Each one is going to be listed. All right. So here again, member directed for each intermediate stop. If government quarters are available, BQ, shipboard berthing, and the base has government mess appropriated fund food service activity, galley available to the traveler, use of government meal per diem rate is directed, so forth, so on. What this is saying is, again, you need to call ahead. If you are a single sailor, depending on how long you're going to be somewhere, you may not be staying in a hotel, or you're not there long enough to stay in housing. You need to call ahead so that you know what barracks you're going to, so that they can assign you a room number. You have all that information and you know where you're going. All right. And it does that, like I said, for each one. It also, depending on where you're going, has student information. Just depends. So my second one was when I was out in Virginia Beach, and you can see reservations needed to be made in advance and as early as possible. Berthing is usually occupied in excess of 95 percentile. So, they'll give you information like that too. And it tells you personnel arriving without reservations cannot reasonably expect to receive on-base accommodations. You might have to go out and find your own hotel. So it's important that you get the information where you're going and that you do this stuff in advance. All right. You need to reach out and make sure that you have this stuff squared away, so you have some place to stay and you're not struggling. Okay. Again, Ultimate Duty Station, member advised again. Now, Ultimate Duty Station, a couple things that it has: child care information and registration. Sometimes that can be hard to get into the child care. Again, apply early, and here's the information so that you can apply for that. All students specifically, it has information how you report. Now, again, There's also, if you go down below that, you're going to have special instructions. Member advised, member directed. All right. These are things that you need to look for. If these PCS orders are to a TDY location at or near, but outside the limits of the old or new PDS, refer to JTR Chapter 5. And these are things that you can get on My Navy HR. If you don't know what that is, search it and read it. Okay, we're not going to get too deep into that, but understand that these things are important. Contacting TRICARE, right? Having your family members, your spouses contact TRICARE so that they can change their primary care manager, so that, you know, they can still see the doctor, things of that nature. All right. And it even gives you the numbers for TRICARE right in your orders. I mean, you should probably already have it, but there it is. You know, it has these different numbers for you already in your orders. It has numbers for the different stations that you're going to, even the intermediate ones. I just blacked a lot of them out. Member directed upon receipt of orders if enrolled in the Exceptional Family Member Program. Okay, this is for medical issues. Member is directed to have the detaching EFMP coordinator, Fleet Family Service Center, so forth, so on. There are things that you have to do. Okay. And then, you know, provide no excess leave involved, so forth, so on. It talks about your leave and where you can find certain information about leave. Okay. Member will attend this information, which is from parts 1 and 2. And then again, always scroll down and look for especially these, the member advised. Okay, member advised. These are things that you really need to look at and read so that you understand what it is. And some of this is just dependent on where you're going. You know, for pilots, air crews, divers, okay, it doesn't apply to me. Cool, fine. You still need to make sure you read it. All right. This is important. Member advised. You can process your household goods HHG shipment application and complete self-counseling online 24 hours a day. All right, so set it up. You know, don't wait till the last minute. Make sure that you have your stuff so that you get it. All right. So again, this is what orders look like. I know that's kind of a lot. I know if you're listening, hopefully it gave you a little bit of information if you're listening on just the audio side of things. And if anybody ever has any questions on their orders, I mean, you can reach out to me via Facebook. I'd be more than happy to go over it with you, but definitely utilize the people at your command career counselor, your supervisors, or just people around you that maybe have recently transferred. Because sometimes when you don't transfer for a while, it's like, cool, I don't know what to do. And I'm gonna be dead honest with you guys. You know, I went from the ship to recruiting, and I was there for 5 years. So when it came time for me to look at orders, it was, even for me, it was a little confusing because I hadn't done it in a while, right? So it's important to ask for help. Don't hesitate. Now, what if you don't want to ask your command or somebody like that for help? Where else can you get help? Cool. I'm glad you asked. First and foremost, though, we are on episode 3 of season 2 of Behind the Helm. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching or listening. Make sure you smash that like button, share these feeds, do all those algorithmic things to help get this information out there. Even if it's not for you, it might help somebody else. So we just looked at orders. Now, where can we get help with these things, whether it be the move, whether it be the orders, whether it be what to expect? There are all kinds of, groups out there. You can always look up, different commands and stuff like that as far as Facebook. But I would caution you, or I would tell you to use caution. I'm not saying that people are inherently bad or that they're trying to give bad information, but understand that sometimes the people, like Facebook, social media is not necessarily monitored. I mean, outside of what I'm telling you, as far as I could be just outright giving you not good information. I promise you that I'm doing my best to give you the best information I can, but you have to have caution. Don't believe everything that you read unless it has come from the Navy itself or from, like vetted places. All right. But if you don't want to talk to somebody at your command and you want some help, or, hey, what should I expect, or where can I get a little information? Well, yeah, leave. Let's go back to those quick links that we were talking about, which, again, anybody can go to quick links. If it has a lock, you're going to have a military ID. If it doesn't, even if you are a spouse or a family member, you can check it out. So let's take a look at that. All right, so we're back at our quick links, and I'm going to point out one that I have talked about on multiple episodes, and it isn't just for counseling. It isn't just for mental health. It would be Military OneSource. Okay, Military OneSource. Now, again, there was My PCS. There's the Move website, but oops, wrong one. Military OneSource. All right. So let's go ahead and pull that open. Again, Military OneSource is your 24/7 connection to information, answers, and support for service members, spouses, families, and survivors on taxes, moving, benefits, MWR, and more. All right, so Military OneSource. Let's take a look here. You can say what you are. Right? I'm a service member. I'm a new service member. I'm a transitioning service member. I'm National Guard, reservist, so forth, so on. Okay. Mil Life topics. Check this out. Military basics, deployments, transitioning and retiring, moving and PCS. Look at this stuff that they have. Preparing to move, moving your personal property, setting in after a move, and then overseas moves. So there's all kinds of information on here. We're not going to dig through all of it. All right. This is something that you can check out on your own, but know that it's there. And there are people that can help you. All right. Housing and living, on base housing, off base housing, making the most of your installation. Right. Oh man, we're at Dahlgren. It's in the middle of nowhere. I don't know what to do. Make the best of it. I'm going to tell you right now, me and my wife are going to make the best of it, because Dahlgren is kind of in the middle of nowhere, and the MWR here, or Military Welfare and Recreation, does a ton here. And there's a Winterfest night. Santa Claus is going to be there. They have mulled wine. They have hot chocolate, cookies, stuff like that. And directly after this podcast, which it starts in 3 minutes, so if I don't wrap this up, Claire might come beat down the door. Not really, but we're going to check that out. Do we have to? No. Can you sit in your house and do nothing? Sure. Why? Take advantage of those type of things. But you can look at Military OneSource and see some of that. Look, living overseas, it has just information, and this information is gathered from different people, and they put it together to help you, to help the service members, the family members, and even family members. Like I'll shout out to my family, that have questions. A lot of times I don't know the answers, be 100% honest. And I don't always look through all this stuff, but Military OneSource is a site that anybody can go to. So even if you're a family member of a service member and you just want to learn more kind of on your own, you can go here and look at living overseas. I haven't read through all of it, but it's something you can do. Or if you have somebody living overseas and you don't really understand what's going on, this is for family members as well. Take advantage of it. Recreation, travel, and shopping. I mean, travel and lodging, MWR, recreation, fitness, and libraries, just all kinds of stuff on Military OneSource. Just this one site to help you. There is so much help out there for you when you're getting your orders, when you're going through your move. If you're that concerned to talk to your commander, your superiors for whatever reason, you can talk to people here. All right. And it's confidential help. Like, you can get confidential help. You can call, even if you're unsure of exactly what it is you need help with. You can always call. They answer. They ask you some questions, but it's confidential. They're not sending it to your command. Maybe you're just like stressed the F out, right? Because of a PCS or a move. Look, it's free counseling. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It's a professional that you can talk to. And I've talked about it before. They also have peer-to-peer counseling, to where it's somebody who has been in your rank. It's not like a professional counselor that's a civilian. It's somebody who was in the military and around your rank, so that you can talk to somebody that they might understand a little bit more of the military side of it. But the professional counselors that they schedule you to talk with too, like, if it's anxiety or whatever, stuff like that, use it. It's free. Why wouldn't you use it? I think it's a great program, and it can help with moves too, new orders, things like that. So don't hesitate to reach out and ask for help. It doesn't have to be anything super major. Like if it's just with your orders, like, you need to be proactive. The more proactive you are, the better you'll be. And, like I said last week, we try to be very proactive with our move and everything here, so that we set everything up so that we got here and then everything happened the next day. Did it work? Yes. But we didn't have exact time, so everybody showed up at once. But it's okay. You got to be proactive with those things. All right. So again, this was episode 3 of Behind the Helm. I'm so glad that you guys came in, whether you're watching now live, you're watching later, you're listening on an audio platform. I have a Winterfest to get to. Okay. MWR putting it on. Absolutely free. There's gonna be a lot of kids, a lot of cool stuff. Maybe I'll take some pictures. That's what I'm gonna do. Me and my wife, we'll take some pictures, maybe video too, and next week I'll show it to you guys. Next week we're just going to talk about the household goods move, right? So we have our orders. What's next? It's preparing to move. How does that work? And what do you need to do? And how to prepare for that. We're going to talk about some of that. All right. There's really no bonus content today. The bonus content was just showing you the Dahlgren guns. I figured I'd do it early instead of waiting to the end. We didn't seem to have any disconnection. So, hey, bam, that's good. So, yeah, remember, a couple highlights. Negotiation for orders 12 months out. And then every 2 months, you get 3 looks. Once you get your orders, where can you find them? How do you negotiate your orders? My Navy Assignment. Where can you find your orders? My PCS. You can find them on INSIPS. Hopefully your command gets them to you. All right. And then how do we read our orders? What do we look for? Member advised. Member advised, member advised. You're supposed to read them in their entirety. Well, yeah, Chief, but a lot of it doesn't, apply. Okay, fine. Read through it just in case. Read through them multiple times. I've looked through my orders like 3 or 4 times to make sure that I'm not forgetting things. All right. Make sure that you're doing that. And as always, if you have any questions, by all means, write me. Reach out to me on Facebook, reach out to me wherever. If you need to reach out, I'll help you. But there are definitely so many other avenues for you to use. And any questions on orders and how that 12-month thing works, again, that's navadmin 231/17. And where do we go to look at any navadmin? My Navy HR. So again, this was episode 3. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I hope this information was helpful. I know it might have been a little dry for some of you, but trust me, this stuff is going to be important, and it's going to start ramping up, and things are going to start getting crazy. And once we start talking about moving overseas, I just think that this season is very important, and hopefully it helps somebody out there. So thank you guys so very, very much. And until next week, Thursday at 4 p.m., hey man, take it easy. I'm going to Winterfest. See ya.